Hey y'all, I'm back. I'm coming at you from a co-working space. I found this little pod with a pink guitar in it. It is definitely a vibe. But I wanted to come on here to talk about what it means to think of self-trust as a spiritual practice. So, I did a YouTube video a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned that in my 30s, I learned that trusting myself is a spiritual practice. And someone had said on threads that they were confused about what it meant to think of self trust as a spiritual practice. So I just wanted to explain a little bit more about what that means because these ideas live in my head and I love hearing feedback from y'all. So let's get into it. So, a spiritual practice is anything that helps you to be more of your authentic self, helps you to return to yourself. And some people think of a spiritual practice as meditation, prayer, or yoga. It's a practice, right? It's something that you constantly keep doing and you know that chances are you may not be perfect at it or you may master it, such as meditation, yoga, whatever it is. Just like you go to the gym and you are expecting a result or you become stronger, your meditation practice, yoga practice, or even journaling practice becomes stronger. It's like a muscle. And when I say that trusting yourself is a spiritual practice, what I'm saying is that trusting yourself is the act of choosing yourself over and over again, no matter what. Self trust requires you to not abandon yourself and really trust your inner knowing. Self trust also involves and asks you to deepen the relationship with yourself. So, self trust doesn't always mean that you are going to be right. And when you are not right, self trust is asking you to not abandon yourself when you're wrong and really know that you'll be able to handle whatever life throws your way. So, I want to back up a little bit and I want you to think about when you were a child. When I think about being a child, I think of how strong my intuition was and how strong my inner knowing was. I pay attention to all of the cues when I was hungry, when I was sad and needed comfort, when I wanted to go outside. I just knew, and I didn't need someone to tell me when I was hungry or what I needed. But if you think about your own experience, well, speaking for myself, the older that I grew, the more my parents thought they knew what was best for me as any other parent or guardian would. They love you, they want to protect you. But on the flip side, if your loved one is always making those decisions for you, that could turn into you not having confidence in yourself or trusting your inner knowing or trusting your intuition. I was thinking to myself the other day how we are born into this world trusting ourselves. We are not born into this world doubting ourselves. It is the trauma and the experiences that we have that contribute to doubting and questioning ourselves and skewing our perception at times. And so I'm not saying that our family members they don't have our best interest, but you remember how I said how our parents and family members they may know what's best for us and they may not know what is best for us. But what I think that turns into is seeking outside of yourself. So that may look like looking for advice instead of tuning into yourself. And what I am finding, especially with social media has really done a great job of contributing to us not trusting ourselves. We're always looking for, well, not always, sometimes looking for that answer, looking for an external resource, an Instagram reel, an article that may tell us what we already know about ourselves. And sometimes that can turn into us being addicted to seeking, to finding whatever answer that we already have. And we end up never satisfied and not trusting ourselves and second guessing ourselves. I'm trying to figure out how to say this in the most respectful and correct way. But a big part of my self trust practice was to step away from using tarot cards so much, using oracle cards. And not to say that I don't like those things, I think those are beautiful tools, and sometimes I still use them for reflection today. But I don't use those tools to decide for me if I need to make a certain decision. These spiritual tools are not the end all be all. And so if you use these tools, they're beautiful. I love them and I still do, but I really encourage you to put those tools down, take that moment of silence, and tune into what you already know because you will perceive those tarot or oracle cards or tea leaf reading or whatever it is, however you want it to fit that situation. So this is just an offering. I encourage you just to try to step away from those tools, those beautiful, beautiful tools that I love, and see what that does for your inner knowing and your intuition. I think that you and your tuition is an even better and accurate tool. I'm going to read you something out of my notebook that I wrote about self trust. I've got my notebook here. I know a notebook hate to see me coming. Self trust is the foundation of agency, discernment, and personal power. It's the art of listening to others without losing yourself, changing your mind without betraying yourself, and making the choices that you believe are right for you. Self trust isn't always certainty, it's the willingness to not abandon yourself, whether your decisions are right or wrong. Sometimes it's trusting the feeling in your body or the pattern that you've recognized and choosing not to ignore it. I want to share a couple of self trust practices that have helped me along the way. And the first one is pausing before asking for advice. I know sometimes we're so quick to look outside of ourselves, whether that is asking AI or asking a friend or family member, but really taking a step back and looking in the mirror and noticing what you notice and choosing what is right for you. The next piece of advice I have is not beating yourself up when you're wrong. So, self trust does not promise that you will always be right, and really just accepting that. There have been several times where I said to myself, okay, I'm going to tune in and trust my intuition. And then the outcome is the complete opposite. And really choosing not to abandon myself in those moments of when I am not right. And the next thing I would like to offer you is to spend at least 5 minutes per day in silence to see what comes up for you before you make any major decisions. For me, sitting in silence for 5 minutes to an hour per day has really increased my self trust because I can hear myself and not other people and voices or media around me. And the last thing I'll say, because there's so much more that I can say, is try keeping a promise to yourself. I really feel like this has helped me with self trust. So for me, I promise that I'm going to spend at minimum of 5 minutes per day in silence, or I will make sure to schedule myself in my calendar. And I trust that I will keep that promise to myself or go for that walk or workout or have that cup of tea. Self-trust it's really a muscle that you build over time, and it takes practice because like I said, we don't come in this world doubting ourselves. It is what happens along the way that causes us to doubt ourselves. Self trust really is a spiritual practice that you have to do and practice daily. It asks you to cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself and to build the confidence to trust yourself and your intuition and your inner knowing. Okay. I hope that was helpful. That's all I have for you today, and I will see you in the next video.